online at traditionhealth.com for your free consultation.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on Facebook and YouTube and with all your friends. It's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World in Fort Pierce, hosted by your friend Joanne Seeger.
Oh, I went too fast for that one. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having an incredible morning. I'm so glad you're spending some time with me this morning. And today is awesome. My good friend and co-host is back live in the studio with us, Dr. Ravi.
Good morning. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, it just seems like, going to conferences, doing all this important work, just got in our way of our Thursday schedule. But I'm so glad you're back. Welcome. Cool. So what's been going on with your life?
A lot.
Okay,
a lot
that's
of
good.
Educating our patients and community. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you're so good at that.
From conferences to, taking care of the patients and life in general.
Life in general is busy. And your wife as well?
She as well.
Awesome. Okay. Yes, Dr. Ravi's wife is a dentist. But she is different than just a plain dentist, isn't she? What is her title?
So, yes, cosmetic dentistry.
Cosmetic dentistry, right in tradition. Awesome,
Tradition
yes.
Parkway Dental
Two
Care.
great people help taking care of all the people there.
Do you practice cosmetic chiropractic?
You know what we do is we change.
Stand up straight, you look better.
We change the spine, and your spine has a lot to do with your posture. Well,
communicating to the largest organ, which is your skin. So I guess he really does.
That skin can pull on our spine sometimes if we have too much of it. Or
exactly.
That is absolutely true. But so Dr. Ravi, in case we have any new listeners, can you tell them a little bit about who you are and where you practice?
So I'm Dr. Ravi, a chiropractor and natural leader in health. My practice is located right in Tradition Family Chiropractic. We've been there going on 6 years, and our mission is just to empower each individual in our community that our lives and our bodies are made to heal. We just need to remove the interferences. And so that's why I love communicating these principles of true health and healing to allow people to live their life to their natural potential.
I love that.
Yeah.
And can you give like a website so in case people want to check you out after
the show?
They
can. So my website is traditionhealth.com. There's a little, you got a new little chat bot on there. So if you have any questions, any concerns, or anything that you hear Joanne and I talk about today, you can always just jump on that website, traditionhealth.com, message us, and you will get a reply right back from me.
Awesome. Do you have any seminars coming up?
We do. We have one coming up August 24th. And that one's about raising healthy families. As kids are going back to school, parents, grandparents are struggling. Well, what do I pack for my kids to go to school, making sure they're getting healthier lunches?
Yeah, I'm already stressing about it. I wrote an article for the local magazine about how to pack a healthy lunch. Mm-hmm. And it was really hard to write that article because I was like, wow, as a mom and having to pack 2 lunches a day, it is a little bit stressful, as far as perishability and health and to make sure they eat it and don't dump out organic produce into a garbage pail.
Or trade it for something naughty.
That's
from
what
a
I mean.
friend.
And they do that.
I used to do that.
That's a real issue. I hate to say it. I did it too.
Yes.
My mom would pack me something healthy and I would trade it all just for an ice cream sandwich. I mean, how horrible is that? But so it is real world problems. Okay. So that is a perfect timing to have that seminar. So I will try to be there for sure.
And while we're talking about food, it leads right into our topic.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Digestion
And some of the things that might come about if digestion goes wrong. right?
Yes.
So let's tell all the listeners what the digestive system really is comprised of. And you're so much better at that sciencey stuff. You go for it.
So digestion actually starts right in the mouth. So that's part of your digestive system, your mouth. In your oral cavity in your mouth, you have your salivary glands that help produce important saliva or mucus to help start that digestive process. And these are known as digestive enzymes. Once you eat something, it goes down into your esophagus, which is a long tube, and it goes right into your stomach. And your stomach actually helps to absorb important vitamins, especially vitamin B, and very acidic environment in the stomach. So the stomach is probably, the acidity is 1.0 to 3, enough acid to degrade metal. So this helps to emulsify and break down your food, where it goes into your small intestine. The small intestine actually is about 20 to 25 feet long. Did you know that, Joanne?
I
Isn't that
do, and
amazing?
it's incredible.
It's crazy.
Incredible.
This
yeah.
long, organ that's in your body. It's crazy, 20 to 25 feet. And this is where more vitamins get absorbed. So the foods that we're putting in, we eat to get the nutrients, especially the macronutrients, your fats, your proteins, your carbs. And from your small intestine, the absorption, the food gets more emulsified or compacted into your large intestine. The large intestine is about 5 feet long. And from there, you get more absorption of minerals, also vitamin A, D, K, and E. And by then, all the water content is gone. So then it comes out. You defecate. You have bowel movement, number 2.
Yeah.
And
well,
you
you
get
hope
rid
you
of all.
do.
You hope you do, yeah. But what happens in today's world is that's not happening.
Yep, it's all backing up.
And what's amazing is your gut, coming from the standpoint of looking at your structure, your digestive system also contains important organs like your liver, your gallbladder. These are all components of the digestive system. And so when these organs aren't working synergistically, it does affect the whole system. Unfortunately, with the things that we're going to be talking about here shortly, it affects the way absorption happens. And so it's amazing how the intestines work for absorption. There's little hair-like projections.
Oh, yes. I love those guys.
Yes. It's very effective. We need to have that. And so just like we have nose hairs, our gut has these hair-like projections to weed off and to protect the barrier of our gut.
I have a great analogy for that one. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes people I hate to say it, but other than maybe a movie where there's that horror scene where someone's gut is split open and they see all the intestines spilling out, right? But they don't really understand that even though it's, so long and it's all twisted together, when you talk about what's happening in that, I guess, really long snake-like image, it's billions, if not trillions, of different processes happening every second, where there's so many systems that work together, like you mentioned, all the organs, the liver, the gallbladder, every little bit is working with those intestines to try to make sure that the little finger-like, well, they're not finger-like, they're tiny projections, the villi, right?
Yeah.
Villi, are working properly. So I always tell people, picture grass, okay? And grass, if you let it run wild, you will see like wildflowers come up and what we call weeds, but that makes the grass healthier, but if we do too much fertilizer, it deadens the grass. Too much water, it will kill the grass, but the root system is still alive. So once we take care of it properly again and let the ecosystem take care of itself, it flourishes again, and everything's supposed to work like that. So I always try to teach people, don't over fertilize, sterilize, or try to kill or destroy too much in your intestines, because we are finding out year after year with so much research and studies that is not the way to health. To kill, destroy, sterilize is not the way to get the ecosystem strong, because those little villi are very sensitive. Their tips of them get burnt real easy and deadened just from sugar consumption. Glyphosate destroys them real quickly, but they're amazing. They will regrow. They will repurpose. They will start working again as long as you take away the burden. So the burden isn't that it needs to be sterilized. It needs to be nourished, and we're definitely going to go over today ways to nourish your digestive system and stop the big one happening, which is leaky gut. So I think we'll start with that one, right?
Yeah.
So leaky gut, because some people are hearing the term now. It's more and more common. But leaky gut, I keep this little article out right by the door of the store. It's a quick quiz to see if you have leaky gut, because 80% of Americans suffer with leaky gut. 80%.
80%.
That's huge.
And
Yeah.
so let's name off some of the symptoms.
Okay.
So if,
Definitely.
If you have headaches, brain fog, anxiety, even joint pain, stomach bloating, skin issues, so like
Allergies.
eczema, allergies.
Yep.
These are all signs and signals
I
that
know.
you may have.
I love the
Leaky gut.
symptom called unexplained fatigue. I feel like everyone has that. I'm tired every day and I don't know why. Every
Yes.
day you hear that, but that makes sense. I think really that statistic is probably low. It's probably more like 90%.
Yeah. So your
but yeah.
gut, the intestinal lining is basically your second brain. So you got to listen to it.
Yeah. You know what I find absolutely crazy is that people, like my husband suffered so badly when he was younger with acid reflux. And so, of course, like most people, they start taking acid blockers. Do you know within days of taking an acid blocker, you create leaky gut? Within days. Yep. And NSAIDs, any of your NSAIDs. So oh my gosh, I'm blanking on. You can tell I don't take them. So aspirin, ibuprofen, naproxen. Yes. So all of those within days can create leaky gut. And so, do you want to tell our listeners what happens when leaky gut occurs?
Yeah. So what happens with leaky gut? And actually, your gut and brain communicate with one another, and so this leads to, once again, headaches, digestive issues, so bloating, you have the joint pain, eczema. And so
Yep, and it's definitely like everything's opened up with those tight junctions are
Yeah.
just
so just picture your intestinal like as having a screen lining, and what happens is when we're have so much toxins that come in through our body, like the glyphosate, the herbicides, these things that are toxic, or even what I see a lot is overuse of antibiotics.
Oh yeah.
It causes these, so picture that screen lining, these screen little holes actually start opening up a little more.
Yep.
And what that does, it allows the things that you're eating, allows the things that you're consuming to seep into the body. And so these tight junctions aren't tight anymore. That's protecting your intestine. It's now open, and it's now allowing all these different types of proteins out into the body. And then what happens? Your body is amazing in the fact that it takes these as foreign invaders. So it starts attacking itself. And this is leading to a lot of autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis.
Yep. And that's the problem, is that the standard care right now is for the side effects we mentioned, leaky gut, is things that will create more leaky gut. And that's where it's a shame, because just like, we medicate a headache versus thinking about where the headache's coming from, we're creating more of the issue and then harder and harder drugs. And still, unfortunately, people are not getting well, and they're not understanding why, because they want to be well, but sometimes the information's not there soon enough or presented to them in a way they can understand. So we're hoping that our listeners are super smart, because we know you are. So we definitely just want to bring to your attention So we mentioned the protein pump inhibitors, the NSAIDs, but there's also the big boy. The big boy on our planet right now that's creating leaky gut, and just like the NSAIDs that create it within a few days, this could create it within a few hours. That is glyphosate. Glyphosate is Roundup. It is now in about 70% of the weed killers. So it's not just Roundup anymore. It's in many brands of weed killers. So that's why if you go through my neighborhood, I'm the only one that has weeds on their driveway. So it's really, it is detrimental because now they have discovered that it does travel through rain. And now even if you try really hard to eat organic and live a really healthy lifestyle, you are still probably being affected by glyphosate because glyphosate is an antibiotic, and it is in the animal feed of supply of our country. So when the animals eat it, or it's on the vegetation because it's on all the GMO crops, which is predominantly what we feed on, then we're getting it into our intestinal tract, and right away those barriers are broken up. And the crazy thing with Dr. Ravi is that I've learned I have so many clients coming in that are trying to consume water, but it's still not hydrating their tissue. And it looks like one of the damaging effects of leaky gut is that the water permeability also gets affected. Not only is it allowing poisons into our bloodstream, but it's also not being able to control the transfusion of the water through the tissue. So all these people are saying that expression, I drink and then I feel it just comes right out of me, or I still feel thirsty, or I feel like I'm so dry, I'm getting drier and drier. And they say that leaky gut, that's another symptom. Is that
you're not
the water,
retaining the water.
yeah, the water permeability, it's trying so hard, but there's so many junctions that are open that it's not able to do its job of keeping the good guys where they need to go and the bad guys getting them out. So it is a very serious thing. I mean, because water, most of our body is this substance that really is not even explainable yet. Most of the body is not solid matter, you know, and so the
every
water,
day we're still learning about it.
Yeah, we're still learning. The cells are only, 1%. So you have this whole body that needs fluid, and yet the permeability issue could compromise that. So it is something we have to really try to eat organic, non-GMO, stay away from the glyphosate as possible, even in your home. I know it's so tempting to use weed killer. Trust me, when I see the weeds, I'm like, okay, don't do it, But you can buy natural weed killers. They are not as effective, but they are worth saving our planet for. So please try to buy natural glyphosate-free weed killers.
Going back to the olden days, right? You would have to go out in your yard and actually weed your yard,
you
right?
pull them out.
But today because our busy schedules, we're looking for that fast fix.
I know.
And
and the problem is, I see it. So I mentioned on the other show we did about glyphosate is that people are so casually spraying this. The landscapers just running around like spraying it in the air like it's nothing, and they have children, spraying the yards for the parents, and the information is there. There's complete links to leukemia and lymphoma with glyphosate. So.
Didn't California ban this?
Yes. Well,
they had a big lawsuit.
Yeah. So glyphosate has lost many, but they're a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So it's like pennies to settle for millions. Like it's pennies to them. But I think the consumers, that will be the ones, because I see every time I walk into like a Home Depot or something like that, and I see the cases and cases and cases of Roundup, even around my building, the building manager, doing the weed killing. That's what everyone knows. And I wonder why they're still doing it. But it's because the consumer's driving it with their dollars. So if we all just really choose, because the information's there, everyone knows it causes cancer, and they're still buying it. So if we can just all make a shift and choose not to put our dollars there, I know it's hard. It's more work, but it will be worth saving ourselves and our planet by staying away from glyphosate.
So going back to the olden days with the how we eat our food and how it's digested, you look at the biggest thing when it comes to marketing and nutrition. Everyone's going for the gluten-free things.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yep.
So what I tell my patients is that gluten is not really the issue. It's what happens with the gluten, right? How it's
Yep.
taken care of. And going back to how gluten is taken care of today, it's sprayed with
Glyphosate.
glyphosate.
Yes.
So
Yep.
this is leading to a lot of those celiac Crohn's issues, like
Yep.
the leaky gut problems.
Definitely. And I definitely noticed when all the customers started going gluten-free, when that was like the big buzzword, they were still eating processed carbohydrates. But like I always made the joke, they weren't eating the regular Oreos anymore. They were eating the gluten-free Oreos. They weren't eating the regular Cheerios. So they basically were still compromising their gut with processed carbohydrates, which is the problem. It
Yeah.
deadens the tops of those villi so they can't perform. It opens up those tight junctions. So it's still as dangerous to consume refined carbohydrates, gluten-free or not. And but I think there are some people online that are doing a great job telling that story. What's the doctor that promotes the leptins, not eating the leptins? Gundry, Dr. Gundry. I have to say he's probably super wealthy now with selling all those products online, but his story is correct. He is telling a real story. I learned it back in Boston at the beginning of my nutrition career 36 years ago, and he's repeating that same story. So the information is legit, saying that don't eat any processed grains. It's not just about gluten. It's any processed grains to stay away from them.
Yeah.
So
And so when we look at the gut health inside that lining, you have the microbiome. Do you know what that is, Joanne?
Say the word again.
Microbiome.
No, that I want to say microbiome, but
microbiome.
Oh, good.
It's the same
Okay.
thing. I just say it a little different.
That was a lot of pressure, Dr. Ravi. What are you trying to do? I'm a hot flashing menopausal woman here.
The gut
Okay.
microbiome.
All right, good.
So yes,
Got
this
that right.
actually
Okay.
is a diverse area of where we have 400 plus different strains of bacteria. And so these bacteria talk with one another. And so what happens is when we consume all these toxic things, not only does it affect the villi of the intestinal tract, but it also affects your gut microbiome, or how do you say it, Joanne?
Microbiome.
Microbiome.
They keep spinning new names to it every year. So, yeah.
And what it does, it alters the way we think, the way our food digests. And a lot of research shows that when this gut is altered, it can affect weight loss. It can affect our mood, concentration as well. So we want to make
now
sure.
we might now
Go
some of our listeners might be like, did Dr. Ravi just say the gut affects the mood? Can you tell them why it affects the mood?
Yes, because
My
your
favorite
gut is
part
your
of the gut.
second brain. So your gut, it actually helps produce 90 to 95% of serotonin. And this is due to the mechanism of how the bacteria all work synergistically together. So
Isn't
yes,
that
I did
cool?
say bacteria, and
Yep.
this is good bacteria. Unfortunately, with the things that we're putting in our body, and sometimes we don't have control over it, we need to put in good bacteria, because that
Yep.
overgrowth of bad bacteria gets
And
overtaken.
give it a healthy home to live in,
Exactly,
too.
that ecosystem
Yep.
that we're talking about.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, what is your stance on fiber? I feel like that's the other issue, that we're eating all these processed carbohydrates, and so it's lacking fiber.
Yeah, fiber is very important. Fiber actually helps to break down the food that we're eating, helps to defecate, so have a bowel movement. They range between 25 to 35 grams a day we should be getting. Unfortunately, we're not eating our greens that much.
Nope.
So I always recommend supplementing, and that's what supplements are there for, supplementing your body with things that you can't get in daily.
Yeah, even if I try super hard, I'm about 10 grams.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. Because the fiber is so filling, especially if you have vegetable fiber, it's so filling.
And this fiber actually helps to repopulate the bacteria that we need in our digestive system.
Yeah, we talked about that last week with we were doing a show on probiotics, and it was showing, that's what they call prebiotic, and
Yes.
that's a fiber just to make a healthy, happy environment for all your bacteria. But Now, as far as we were talking about the mood connection and all the neurotransmitters that are made in the gut, and we got to really remember, like I sell Ion Biome, and it's Ion Gut Health is a liquid, and you take it every day. And the first thing I tell people is going to help your mood. And they look at me, most of them, like I'm insane, and like, wait, I'm buying this because I just took an antibiotic. I'm buying this because, my tummy hurts. But they don't realize that part of being miserable in their day-to-day life is because their neurotransmitters cannot work properly because of leaky gut or other issues of the microbiome. So if they're making enough GABA, serotonin, all that good, happy dopamine, yeah. I mean, and you don't have to buy it in a pill.
Exactly.
It's your body will make it if you just give it the right environment. So super important.
Yeah, our body was not made with a lack of Celexa or all these antidepressant medications.
I know, no lack
right?
of pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
There's no condition that is termed a lack of that pharmaceutical.
Yes. And so going back to this, how does that work is our nervous system does it. So our gut health as its own nervous system.
Oh, that's so good. This sounds very complicated, though, so I think we're going to take a quick break so all our listeners can go get pen and paper, because I think we're about to learn something really new. All right, hold that thought, Dr. Ravi. We will be right back. Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World, hoping that you visit my store and wellness center. We have incorporated cutting-edge services to help you feel better. Check out my online store at joannesnutritionworld.com. Really great deals and free shipping over $50. I am really hoping that all my listeners are taking time right now to get fresh air, to get exercise into their daily routine, keep hydrated, and get the proper amount of sleep. It's critical right now that attitude is everything. To please take time to laugh, to give yourself a break. You can find Nutrition World right on US 1 in Fort Pierce, across from Fort Pierce City Hall, in between Orange Avenue and Avenue A. Our phone number is 772-464-3598. Call me with any questions or concerns. All my best, Joanne.
Joanne's Nutrition World, now open from 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday. Call 464-3598.
Hey, it's Dr. Ravi at Tradition Family Chiropractic. We are dedicated to serving you and your family with integrity, compassion, and innovative care through the most advanced chiropractic care ever in chiropractic history, encouraging your health and your family's health to its maximum potential on a regular basis. Call us today at 772-345-0060 or schedule online at traditionhealth.com for your free consultation.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return you to Joanne's World of Nutrition with Joanne Seeger and Dr. Ravi.
Oh my gosh, guess what I've just remembered, guys? We forgot to do the breathing exercise.
We forgot to breathe.
Oh, I was so excited to have Dr. Ravi back in house that I was like, oh my God. But I have to say that we are going to do it right now.
Let's do it.
And I talked about meditation 2 shows back, and we have intentionally been trying to do it. We did it last night, a few other times. There's so many amazing meditation guided on YouTube. It is amazing. You get so relaxed, and the time goes like a snap. Like 30 minutes can be like 2 minutes. It's amazing. So I am strongly suggesting all of the most amazing health mentors in the world all recommend meditation as the number one ability to heal the body. It's kind of taking us out of the way and just letting the body rest and just work where it needs to work. So there is so much research behind meditation. So if you've never tried it, give it a shot, whether it be 1 minute or 100 minutes, it doesn't matter. Just put your intention there. And we did a meditation circle last week at the store. It was just this free little circle. My friend does guided meditation for years now, and she led the group. It was so nice. Oh my gosh, it just really felt like I just escaped and rested, like a real nice true rest. So let's do the breath work, guys, because we do have to teach that we always need to make time for breath work. No matter how busy and what point we want to get out there in the world, we still need time to rest.
And the breathing needs to be done through the nostrils only.
That's right, nasal breathing.
Nasal breathing.
Yes.
Okay.
And there is a new cool one that I found on YouTube. It's the Navy SEAL box breath work. I thought, my brother being a Navy SEAL and he's so rough and gruff, I thought I wasn't going to like it, but it's the same people that do the nasal breathing. The only difference is you do 2 holds. So you pretend you're visualizing a box. So you go in for 5, hold for 5. In for 5, hold for 5, out for 5, in for hold for 5. So you're basically looking at this box. It's very meditative and it's nice. But we won't do that today because it's already confusing me without seeing the box. So for newbies, it's super simple. We're going to inhale through our nose for 5, hold for 5, release for 5, and we'll just do 2 counts so we can get ready for this new lesson Dr. Ravi's going to give us. All right, here we
let's
go.
Prepare. Let it all out first.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
and now through the nose. Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you, sir.
I thought you were falling asleep there.
I almost did. Yeah, right. I almost did. Woo.
Well, yeah. It can come upon you very quickly
Yes.
and easily.
Yeah,
If you have trouble sleeping, you could do the breathing exercises.
I know,
laying
and that's the
down.
thing is sometimes, we get a little worked up when we don't feel well. Like our mind might run to Google, and then that will scare us more. So the breath work will bring us back to just a calmness, a peacefulness, so we can just focus on what really needs to be focused on.
You know how
So-
children have trouble taking naps? I taught this to my 4-year-old granddaughter. Do you know what she told me? She says, "This makes me magic."
Oh, I love
What
that.
a
That's
perception.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
love that. Actually, my
Nice.
stepdaughter had a similar thing. Yeah, so it's crazy how they perceive things,
Mm-hmm.
but they know.
They know,
They
yeah.
feel
Oh,
it
yeah.
inside.
They
Well,
do.
your instincts, you can hear your own instincts.
Yeah,
when you do
before
this
we
stuff.
tarnish all that beautifulness.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
So
right,
this
so Dr.
perfect-
Ravi, what
this-
was that word again you just threw at us?
Well, the nervous system.
Oh, I thought
It's-
that you said it
I'm
fancier.
gonna say
Okay.
it, but this breathing exercise actually helps to relax that nervous system.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel much more calm
And
now.
so while we're talking about the gut, your gut has a specific portion of that nervous system, and it's actually called the enteric nervous system.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the nervous system, your central nervous system, is comprised of your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves that exit the spinal cord. Now, right at your brainstem, you have this nerve. It's called the vagus nerve. I'm sure you've talked about it many times,
Yes.
Joanne.
Well, you and I, when we met, that was like
Yeah.
all we talked about, the
Does it
vagus
involve taking a
nerve.
chance?
Yeah.
The vagus nerve. Yeah, the vagus nerve is not the same for every individual, but what's really unique about it is it has 3 different branches. And that middle branch is the one that goes right into your digestive system. And this is the main one that's comprised of that enteric nervous system.
I hope everyone
So,
really heard that.
Yes.
Because
this is huge
yeah,
because
it's
when
huge.
you're stressed, your digestive system feels it. So many patients, when you're stressed, or any individual, you will feel the butterflies in your stomach. That's actually what we call peristalsis.
Yeah.
That's your intestinal tract moving. This
Yep.
is the butterfly feeling that you have.
Yeah,
and
in
it communicates
response,
right
yep.
to your brain, and your brain responds, whether it's in a drastic way where you don't mean to do what you're doing or mean to say what you're saying. This is your gut talking to your brain. You know, when you, I remember when I was a student back 10, 15, well, we're always a student, right?
Yes, always. Every day I
Every
learn
day,
something
yes.
new. Yeah.
But when we're learning something new, or you're taking a test and your gut instinct is telling you that's the right answer, that's your gut talking to your brain because it knows.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing thing with the human body is, you have to fix the interferences. And so when you come from a chiropractic standpoint, from what I do, what happens is when you have stress on that nervous system, it creates an array of issues. So going back to looking things at from an organic level, looking at the organ like the intestines, and then treating that organ with the good things and supplementing it, we want to make sure we're having a good structure. We want to make sure that our structure is able to help our body function well, of taking care of that nervous system, the enteric nervous system.
And that you explained it so well. And I think, too, that's when people have to understand that they have to look at their body as this whole family that's working together, because sometimes clients will say, well, I am sleeping at night, but they're medicating to get to sleep. And, well, I'm going to work, but they're doing a lot of stimulants or energy substances to get them to work. And so this whole equilibrium where, like you said, the brain-gut connection, it's losing its adaptive nature to learn, what do you need? What do you need? More water, you need more fresh air, you need more time with your loved one, you need breath work. You just have to kind of listen. Yes. And there, do you have? I feel that now with a really challenging time for some of us, that the connection between their mind and body seems to be. More distance is growing. More distance is growing. Like it's like the head's just wobbling without the rest of the body.
And we're getting lost in our train of thought. We're hearing individuals, we're hearing the news, we're hearing everything. Just trust your body. Your enteric nervous system, 70% of their immune system lies in that gut system.
Yes.
Right. And so if you're looking to grow your brain, if you're looking to learn something new, I would recommend this book. It's called Brain Body Prescription. This book is amazing. I don't know the author. I forgot the author. But Brain Body Prescription.
I mean, you're not perfect.
It teaches you how everything that we're taught is that leads to a health condition is all psychosomatic.
Yes. Oh, Louise Hay said that, 50 years ago.
Yeah, and it's all from the things that we're inputting in our brains, from watching the news to hearing our friends, what they're doing with their health.
Yes, and I remember, I followed her work, 36 years ago, and I remember someone named an ailment, I would go right to her book and link the emotion to it.
Yes.
But now we have the science to prove why she proved that. Anytime someone came against her, she could prove her comments like asthma over stifling a loved one, like what's that word where you feel claustrophobic, like you just feel
closed in.
Closed in. Thank you. So what I love about you, Dr. Ravi, is you just told the science behind that. So like you said, if the vagus nerve attached right into the intestinal tract, and that is responding to stressors, emotional stressors, it shows the link right there, because 70% of your immune system is coming from that same area. So if you're constantly stressing yourself out, it completely affects your intestinal tract. And if you have leaky gut, then poisons are going in and making you feel sick. And those poisons are the pain reliever. And the food that are what we call in today's society our comfort foods, the candy, the cake, the cookies.
The standard American diet.
I just need this. I got bad news. I'm sad. I got bad news. Oh, it's after church. Let's just eat 10 cookies because they're outside the door. It's like it's our reward sympathetic system, whatever we call this, and that is we just got to stop the first step, which is letting those emotional stressors take a toll on our bodies.
So what can we do for anyone that has this leaky gut issue, from a standpoint, or just wanting to strengthen their immune system?
Well, and that's the coolest part. And that's why I sell so much of the Ion Gut Health, because it's not only affordable, easy to use, it sits on the counter. You just take a couple teaspoons a day. But Dr. Zach Bush that created this, well, he always says, I didn't create it. It came from 60 million year world soil. So he didn't create it. It's TerraHydrate, but he was able to, with his brilliance, and I do call him a brilliant doctor, he was able to make it in a liquid form that is consumer user friendly. So you take a couple teaspoons a day, and within 10 days, you will heal the leaky gut. And this is the good part, not an excuse to keep up with bad habits, but like I mentioned, there is glyphosate in our air and our water, so it is hard to avoid completely. So this will still keep repairing even at the onslaught of other things that are creating the issue. So you could use it every day to make sure that the things you're choosing to do or not choosing to do are not having an ill effect on your gut.
Yeah, and while you're taking this Ion Gut Health formula, make sure you're continuing to be aware of the things that you're putting in your body to help with that villi growth.
Yeah, like the
grass
fiber
growth.
we mentioned. Yep,
The fiber.
mentioned lots of fiber. And back to that grass analogy, the other thing is think of the things that we've destroyed through the years, like dandelion. I remember growing up, and as soon as a dandelion, kill the dandelion, what's the number one thing to help the kidneys and liver? Dandelion, right?
Yes.
And same thing, like arugula used to be called a weed.
A weed.
Now arugula, everyone knows, super great for the liver and your bloodstream, building up hemoglobin. So these are things that we have to kind of go, maybe they didn't look so perfect and maybe they didn't suit my little storybook yard, but our body loves these things.
They do, yeah.
The uglier
The
it
microflora,
seems
yeah.
and the weirder it is, the body likes it more. Do you remember that old analogy that people would say, if it doesn't taste good, it must be good for you? I don't believe that anymore. You can go to real fancy restaurants and order arugula salads and pay $15 for this bucket of weeds, but it's so good. They make it with that beautiful lemon, a little high quality olive oil. So don't think health has to taste bad. You do have to learn a little bit and adapt a little bit and get away from, the sugar monster addiction, which is worse than a heroin addiction.
I was being a little harsh with a patient the other day, and I told her she needs to stop eating all the box food stuff and start eating salads. She looks at me and says, I'm not a rabbit.
I know that a lot of people say that.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Don't you want to be a rabbit? Don't you want to have the energy? Don't you want to be jumping around?
Yep, especially in our neighborhood in tradition, the rabbits are like Speedy Gonzalez's. Shoo, 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 yeah.
So
they only eat vegetables.
That's all they eat,
yeah.
right? And she's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll take you up on that. I'm gonna go have a salad for dinner.
Good job. And that's the thing, is that I tell people all the time, I learned that if I tell them to just not eat all the bad things, they usually shrug me off and don't do it. But if I tell them, hey, can you add in 2 bowls of vegetables a day, or 6 more cups of water,
they'll do it.
Or can you go outside in nature and do my breath exercise for like 5 minutes a day, or do Dr. Zach's 4-minute workout, they'll go, oh, I could do that. But if I tell them, stop all the things that we know, because the list goes long, then they usually get glazed over and walk out.
Yes.
So we have to really understand that the human condition goes deep and deep.
And another thing to be aware of too, along with the fiber content, is looking at like gluten foods that you're putting in your body. Make sure if you're looking at gluten-free things that it is GMO free and organic.
And not full of sugar.
And not full of sugar, because once they take the gluten out, they have to put something else in.
Yep, just like the Oreo analogy. But also I want to mention oats. Dr. Ravi, a lot of people, when they Google oats, they misunderstand. So the heirloom oat is gluten-free. Okay, but the oats were transitioned to have a lot of gluten, okay, to make it a little bit more, I don't know, sticky or whatever it was. So, but you can get Bob's Red Mill now has the heirloom oats. So please enjoy oatmeal. You'll have that little carb fix. You'll get the fiber, you'll get the nutrition, but none of the gluten. So, but it has to say in big letters, gluten-free. I sell the gluten-free versions at the store, but most of the big supermarkets have the Bob's gluten-free. So don't just think because it's oats, it's gluten-free, because it has to be the heirloom oats.
Yes. Yeah. And our body needs carbs, healthy carbs.
Oh, yummy warm oatmeal in the morning. There's nothing better. It's so yummy.
Instead of processed white bread.
Yeah, exactly.
I think your gut would thank you for that too.
It
I
will.
know.
Yeah.
It really helps out.
And a good way to test your gut is, making sure you're having one bowel movement after every meal. After every meal.
There's people cracking up right now
I know,
listening
right?
to that sentence. They're like praying for one bowel movement a day. Never mind.
We ought to make a
after
cute
each
little
meal.
song. That
I've been
helps.
having
know,
patients
right?
in the last few weeks, like 3 bowel movements and one bowel movement in 3 days. Every other day.
I know.
It's
And some of them, that's normal and that's okay. Yeah.
And,
But their toxins are not coming out.
and then you look at their fiber content, they're not getting in that fiber. They're getting
Nope.
less than 5, and all this stuff is just settling in their intestines, just waiting to be eliminated.
Right, but now because you're a chiropractor, we definitely have to add in, now that we're talking about bowel movements, that sometimes it is just posture and time. Because I have so many clients that I suggest the squatty potty to, because
It's amazing.
most of them barely make time to use the restroom, and when they do, it's like, okay, I sat, like they're all sludged over on their phone still. They haven't let go of their phone, scrolling and wondering why their bowels won't empty. So I always say, leave the phone outside of the bathroom, sit up straight, bring your chest forward, put your feet up on that squatty potty, or just lift your feet, and it's amazing what happens.
Yeah.
Amazing. And some people are like, oh no, you don't understand. It's been years. It's been since my childhood. And I'm like, trust me, your colon wants to be in the right position. If you crunch it all up, nothing's coming out.
Yes.
So yeah, posture is everything.
Posture is
whenever
everything.
I'm near you, I try to sit up straight. So okay. It's
Chiropractor next to you kind of reminds you.
I know. I need to
yourself
put like
sometimes.
Don't be hard on yourself.
I need to
Not
put a
everyone has
picture of
perfect
him on
posture.
a stick and just like walk around with it. So stand up straight, Joanne, stand up straight. But it is really important that we realize there's not just one answer to any of these things. But like we started with the show, just take a moment to think of that one step you can do today. Whether you buy Ion Gut Health or you see Dr. Ravi and start
increase your
getting
fiber.
adjustments to make sure that your posture is better. But yeah, increasing fiber, adding 1 bowl of fresh vegetables a day, preferably organic and non-GMO. These are the steps you can take. And water, we want to emphasize water and not Gatorade, not energy drinks.
Red Bull.
Not all fluid
No.
is created equal. So it's really important that sugar never solves hydration issues. So don't load your body up with glucose or sugar from like Gatorade and Powerade. I see this summer, like the stores are just selling out of this stuff, but it will get you sicker. And again, the immune system being a top form right now is super important. And I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so once again, my workshop, if you want to learn
yes.
more about more natural ways to take care of your health, whether you're a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, don't have any kids, definitely come out to our Raising Healthy Families workshop. We'll be talking a little more about especially the gut health with kids, because they're not eating properly, and we want to make sure we're supplementing their nutrition well. So come on out to that. That's August 24th at 6 p.m. It's an hour long, 6 to 7 p.m. You can just text us or go on our website. It's traditionhealth.com, and just let us know that you would like to register for that, or if you want more information. Or you can text us or give us a call. It's 772-345-0060. And Joanne,
Awesome.
do you guys have the Ion Gut Health in the store?
Oh my gosh, of course. It's like
All
right
right.
when you walk in the door, it almost knocks you over. We've been selling so much, but the one thing that I have a hard time communicating with customers, because Zach Bush, Dr. Zach Bush, who's triple board
amazing.
certified, he is so amazing. I can't get enough of him. He's so smart. And so he just made an amazing booklet that I have next to the product. It's not too long. I think it's about 8 pages. but he explains in detail how the Eye on Gut Health works, because it is very complicated. There's so many things that live in the intestines, and they're all meant to be there. Do you know that the baby's first poop has over 200,000 different viruses in it? Mm-hmm. And that's before the body's immune system is being developed. So it shows you that we have to adapt to our environment. We have to adapt to all these things. They're part of us. They're in our ocean. They're in our air. They're everywhere.
And we can adapt. We just don't need that interference.
Yeah, that's right. Get away the interference. And so with the Eye on Gut Health, it does show that it's about the connection and the communication of your body. It's not promoting being a prebiotic, a postbiotic, a probiotic. It's not promoting that. It's promoting that it works with the communication of the entire body together. Doesn't matter if it's a cell, it doesn't matter the brain, it doesn't matter what it is. All the cells of the body to communicate, to let each other know where the weaknesses are and where the strengths are and how to work together like we're supposed to in our communities. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten far away from that. So we all need to find a support system that makes us be able to achieve what we want to do. Because if you think you're alone in trying to eat healthier or getting better rest or getting out in nature more, you're not. Dr. Ravi and I see clients all day long with that same intention, but everyone feels a little bit alone in that. They don't feel like everyone just wants to eat junk or everyone just wants to be overweight. No, that's not true. Everyone really wants to feel better, but some people are so lost they don't know where to start. So if you've already started your journey, you're already listening to us, maybe you can turn a friend on to someone like us that might give them that first step of just say, hey, how about this? Or like, don't let people give up. Don't let people lose hope. And that's what we need more of, just to show it's not about being a health food nut. It's not about spending tons of money on supplements. It is just about just being quiet, doing your breath work, listening, and finding support, finding a community or a tribe that supports you in your goal to be healthier.
And that's what we are. We're a culture.
Yes.
Health culture.
Yeah, and you meet more and more people. Like you said, I learn every day something that sometimes is mind-blowing.
Yes.
Like, wow, okay, this is incredible, and I can do this.
And you pass it on to others.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, just try one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself like, I have to do 30 things or else I won't achieve. Just start with one thing. And I had to give a shout out to a customer, Jeff.
Yes.
He's been a loyal radio show listener and came in the other day, and I met him, and he got some Eye on Gut Health, and it's just, when people feel the difference or they try to do some of the things that we talk about on the show and they actually stick with it, that's what matters, to really just deciding, choose one thing, if it's even one thing, getting an adjustment, drinking more water. Please just try it. All right. So any last minute thoughts that I think we've gotten a lot across. All right. So so if you're taking any NSAIDs, you don't have to listen to what I'm saying. Just go on their websites and you'll see their side effects, as well as the PPIs, the protein pump inhibitors, antacids,
Nexium, the purple
Nexium,
pill, all those.
So again, if you are on them, it's okay. Come see us. We'll help guide you on healthier choices. And thank you so much. And next week, I'll talk about something else cool. Don't know what it is yet,
Absolutely.
but I'll come up with it.
Yeah, Joanne's World of Nutrition is brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. This is WPSL, Port St. Lucie.